it's really shocking to me how much the Bears are in the news on every national show. Everybody has a take on the Bears. It is either they drafted the wrong quarterback, Matt Eberflus is not the right coach, Shane Waldron, why would they take Shane Waldron over Cliff Kingsbury? It's Everyone has a take. So let's start with, how about Chris Canty on First Take?
We're talking about franchise malpractice, so how can we not bring up the Chicago Bears?
Damn.
I can't stand the Chicago Bears and how they handle the quarterback position. I can't stand it. Listen, America, check on your friends that are Bears fans. Please check on them. Top Chef Joe Flam, I'm talking about you. Love your restaurant, Rosemary, but I can't stand how your football team handles quarterback. Remember, this is a team that is passed on C.J. Stroud 2 years ago when they traded the #1 pick to the Carolina Panthers, knowing that they were unsure about their quarterback situation. This past draft, they decided to pass on Jaden Daniels in lieu of taking Caleb Williams. And oh, by the way, they traded Justin Fields. All three of those quarterbacks are playing better than the one they got right now. And here's the thing. This is not an indictment on Caleb Williams, because Caleb Williams can still be a good pro, but I can't stand how the Chicago Bears handled it, because they made Caleb Williams the day one starter, knowing the pressure that would be on that kid because of the moves that they made in order to position themselves to get him and have a head coach on the hot seat. And oh, by the way, the Chicago Bears, why didn't you go out and hire Cliff Kingsbury as your offensive coordinator? Why are you going to let the Commanders hire him and let him build the offense for Jaden Daniels to have success and go with, I'm sorry, Shane Waldron? Shane Waldron as your guy? I'm sorry, forgive me, I'm not familiar with Shane Waldron's work. But either way, they have bungled this entire thing when it comes to the drafting and developing of a franchise quarterback. It ain't on Caleb Williams. The common denominator in all the dysfunction and the first round bust at quarterback in Chicago is the Chicago Bears organization.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, I give Chris Canty a lot of credit. He dropped in Joe Flom's restaurant, Rosemary,
Which is next level wonderful.
which was pretty
That
good.
was pretty good, yeah.
That he actually dropped that little tidbit in there. Like, he's a Fulton Market guy, obviously knows Joe Flom's restaurants. So I thought that was pretty funny. But okay. Are these the same people that were talking about how great of a move it was by Ryan Poles, this whole draft and this whole fleecing of the Panthers with the trade for the first pick? Everyone talked about how great of a move it was. I will say not everyone has been on the Matt Eberflus bandwagon at all, so that I'm not surprised by. But everyone also loved the Shane Waldron move.
I don't know that everyone loved it.
I thought most people were very supportive. Like, great, you picked him off the right tree. Absolutely. Look what he did in Seattle with Geno Smith. I mean, Cliff Kingsbury, nobody was, I don't know. He really stunk it up as a head coach. Now, oh boy, it is so easy to look back.
It is so easy.
We're 4 weeks in.
I'm not in the practice of making blanket statements 4 games into the season. I will say, to this point, Jaden Daniels has looked like he was more prepared for this season. He has looked that way. Now, is that Cliff Kingsbury? Is that his makeup? Is it, I don't know, is it the teams that they played? Who knows? Who knows what that exactly is?
Is that his floor was higher?
Perhaps.
His floor was higher.
Right.
Who's got the higher ceiling? We won't know.
We don't know. I cannot determine someone's career based on those first 4 weeks.
Right. And as everyone has been saying, they have put him in a great position. Nice short passing game. The one really good team that they played, they did not play well in. So let's see the whole body of work. We always say this. Let's wait and see the whole season, the whole body of work.
However, I feel like from what we've heard coming out of the locker room and what we've seen from Shane Waldron, him not being comfortable completely is what we've seen. I mean, that is, we have to call it what it is.
You
they said
were on this way before anyone I heard.
But they said it in the locker room, right? Like Mercedes Lewis said it. He said, it's not Pop Warner, man. Like, you got to coach us hard. And to Waldron's credit, I do feel like he did that last week. I feel like we saw more of that last week. And yet I'm not ready to say, oh, this offense is really headed in the right direction. I do think Caleb's figuring some stuff out, but I need more. We need to see it followed up with a good performance this week.
Speaking of Caleb, let's listen to what Chris Long had to say on the Rich Eisen Show about the Bears offense and their use of Caleb Williams.
I mean, I don't know what their identity is, honestly. I mean, like, I'm not making an excuse for the kid because I don't think he's playing as well as Jaden Daniels, like, period. And if you'd asked me coming out who the best quarterback was in this class, I would have said Jaden Daniels. And I told you, if Chicago makes this trade, you have to be ready for a little bit of a disappointment early where it's like, you're not ready to win now. Like you were ready to build towards winning now last year if you had, accepted some of the, the assets you get out of that haul if you traded out of the pick, and like maybe you could fortify your team. And like, as evidence, like Justin Fields in the second half the other day, if Pittsburgh would ever say, hey, we don't have to wait to get down to use him, I do think there's a starting quarterback in there. And I think with Chicago's defense, that team was ready to win this year. But as long as you're willing to play the long game, and that might include sifting through some scheme issues and some of the, hey, we couldn't get the O-line patched up, even though people told me it was like the best situation in the history of football for a rookie QB, and then a couple started making excuses for the rookie. The rookie can do some special things. I see it. But, in general, I haven't seen him move the pocket enough. I really like him throwing on the run. I don't mean to be like kind of surface level, but that's one thing that jumped out at me watching him the other day. And then, there are throws he could hit before the half in the red zone, but I'm also watching him 2 weeks ago. And when your offensive coordinator is blocking a guy with a 94 number with a guy wearing an 11, like, that's a problem down on the goal line. And then when you're going speed option off of that into that look, like, I just don't know if they know what the identity of that offense is yet. Now, Swift had a good game the other day, so that's something you build on.
All right, Chris Long on Rich Eisen's show.
He was essentially saying that it seemed that, because Hoodie and I talked about this on Thursday morning, and he said, we were talking about Chris Long basically saying that Waldron didn't have a plan, right? Like, he didn't have a plan. And the way he has not utilized Cole Kmet, it feels like, did you not see did you not watch everything from last year and see what was going on offensively and know the personnel you were coming in with? I mean, he knew Gerald Everett. So is that why you used him so much in those first couple of games?
Yes.
I think so.
It is. I totally agree with what you're saying. The new coaches on the Bears staff do not fully know their personnel.
Right.
Whether you are in the running back room and Chad Morton pounding his fists on the table for Velus Jones. Seriously?
I know.
Seriously?
But what you're saying is an indictment on what have you been doing since you were hired in February and March? Like, what has been going on?
I think you guys are exactly right about this, that it is the coaches unfamiliar with the personnel. And that is why it feels so disjointed.
Yes, I agree with you.
And I think that is why Cole Kmet looks disjointed out there.
Yes.
Because they're not using him how he's been used to being used.
Okay, well, so what were they resting on? The excitement we all had that was somehow going to win games. Chris Long is right. They were not built. Most of us predicted 9 or 10 wins, which is 2 or 3 more than they had last year. That is not postseason deep run into towards February. None of us said that. So I agree. I don't think they were ready to win it all now. But you felt like they had a lot of pieces there that in the right hands and in the right playbook would produce more consistently and at a higher rate than they are right now.
Yep.
And
exactly.
That's not wrong. I don't think any of that is infactual.
And so I do think that the whole pointing at the coaching staff is fair.